If all of this was to disappear tomorrow, do you think you'd be able to build it back?
That's interesting. Very interesting question. If everything disappeared, I think the first thing is like, I know that I would figure out whatever it is that I'm meant to be doing next. Could I build it back? I think the answer is yes, but it would be a lot harder than originally building it. You know, one of the massive benefits that I've had is being on the first wave. You know, not many people can say that they've been doing this for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's gotten harder to stand out in a space now where it's so easy to have channels, to curate content, to get content out and things like that. So I'm an eternal optimist. So yeah, I could build it back, but it would be a serious effort. Yeah. That's an interesting question. I never thought about that. It would be seriously hard, but could I do it? I mean, I know the recipe.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. If you could gauge it, how long do you think it would take?
To build back to where we are now?
Like what, 20 plus years?
I mean, this is my life.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally, you know, I was in IT, but while I was in IT, it was a means, you know, I was doing IT to basically support my, what I call a drug habit of cars. I always loved cars my whole life. And so all I ever did was work on my car.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if we're just talking about, you know, forget about RTR vehicles for a minute and building that business and just the motorsport foundation that we have. Is that where your question's coming from?
Yeah.
For the most part?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. I think if we were to start from ground zero and I was back grassroots drifting, trying to figure out how to make it to the team that we are today, that's a minimum 10-year effort.
Yeah.
Right. By time, like you've cracked some doors open and evolved the relationship and grown the program and grown the team and figured out what works and what doesn't work and the type of energy you need and the equipment you need to use. I mean, it's a minimum 10 years. I mean, 10,000 hours.
That's crazy.
Right.
Dude.
I mean, that's the way to think about it.
It's crazy to think how long something this massive actually takes. Because I know, like, now that you have almost the exact plan in place of what you could do, it would still take you that long no matter what, which is a lot of that's building relationships, right?
I come from it. Like that question to me is like, I have nothing where I started.
Right.
You know, I didn't have a pile of money. You know what I mean? Everything that I built, you know, I built my first car on my back in my garage, my S13, SR20 powered S13 that I showed up at Formula D Atlanta in and ran that 04 season. You know, that was all, you know, starting from the bottom. So like if I had $10 million, you know, maybe I could speed that up a few years, but the knowledge and the people is really what this takes at the end of the day, right? You know, how to build the vehicle to withstand what we put it through. First and foremost, what components to use. Yeah. How do you get there? Yeah. You got to break them. So when we were starting in 04, no one knew. We weren't even like a third of the horsepower we are today. So you know what I mean? So it's just that evolution and then the type of people that you need and understanding, you know, how to staff a team that can consistently be successful, can consistently support each other on the road and through the tough times and all of that, man. It's just so much bigger than I think anyone imagined, including myself up until, you know, the last 5-10 years.